All right, there we go. This is exciting. So here we are. We're back. Konstantin, welcome again. I know people are actually really enjoying watching you live again on YouTube because you're not on YouTube anymore. Maybe you can give us a quick introduction and and then we can talk about like what you've been working on and what's been helpful to you.
Yeah, so my name is Konstantin. I'm Russian. I've been learning English my whole life, and I've been especially into accents for the last couple of years. And I used to be a YouTuber up until recently when my YouTube channel got shut down, and now I'm back to being just full-time broadcast journalist. And yeah, so this is my job. I'm also going to be presenting these in English, so there's professional interest in those lessons as well. And I'm really hopeful that those are live or helpful to some other people who are trying to improve.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this. We're going live, number one, because I want to help you out, and number two, because other people will find this really useful. So I'm going to share my screen, and you've got a script for us today, and this is how I would work with anybody else, and particularly with content creators. So what you can do is give me a script, and I can help you out with that. So I'm going to share the screen, and I'm going to kind of pin it up there. And we'll put I'll put the notes of this, by the way, the finished copy, in the description of the video of the live so that people can see it later as well. So what do we want to review real quick? First of all, I think you said some TH word just now. I don't know if it was this or that or these or those. I'm not sure which one it was. But remember to watch the THs so that you're really getting friction on the top part of your teeth, right here. Because it sounded like more like you tapped the teeth, and that sounded more like a D. It sounded like dis or dad. I'm not sure what it was. Does that make sense? I know you don't do that very often, but I was catching that. Okay, cool. So, so give me a quick these, this, that, those, some kind of combination there.
This, these, those, that.
A little more friction. These, this. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And it's so common, we say them hundreds of times every day that there we go, that we forget about it, and then this becomes such routine and muscle memory. But instead of tapping THs, guys, remember, I want friction right there between the bottom edge of the front top teeth and the top of my tongue. You don't have to stick it out that much, but we do want friction there. That's the goal. So just a quick extra little thing. Now, remind us, I'll remind everybody what we've worked on the last time, because I want it in the top of your mind in this script. So last time we talked about the vowel length, right? And how long a vowel should normally be, and then when it's inside the stressed syllable, and how else we stress it. I've got 3 things to think about for stressed syllables that applies to the vowel in the stressed syllable. I want it longer, I want it louder, and I want it higher in pitch for the stressed syllable. So that's what you and I did last time, just to keep that in mind. And then the musicality sounded so much better. And then the time before that, I think our main focus was on voicing. So making sure that this part here is vibrating on some sounds, but not on others, right? So just a quick recap to put your head in the right place. Are you ready to go?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Is there anything on your mind today about, like, oh, I really want to work on, I don't know, the R's or connected speech? Is there anything in particular? If not, that's fine.
No, I'm happy with your notes. I mean, it's just
whatever we find, we find. All right, cool. All right, cool. So you can read that, right? You can see the screen. Everything's good for you?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So, on paper, Trump's tariffs were meant to strengthen the U.S. economy by bringing industries back home. They were also meant to be used as a giant hammer to pressure other countries into trade concessions. Now, here's the reality check. Instead of bringing factories home, some American businesses simply choose to keep buying cheap goods from China while, hold on their hat, arguing the tariffs. As it turns out, it's not impossible. It's not even that hard.
Nice. Pause there if you don't mind. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, this would be a good place to pause. Let's do half and half this time so that we can just kind of like focus on one or the other. This is really nice. In general, I've got one more thing, like kind of like the TH thing. I'm going to put it on the list over here. How am I going to categorize this? Okay. I'm going to call, we just said it, we said friction, right, for the TH. And I'm going to make a note here on something called fricatives. Let me write it down. Sorry, let me share that screen again. Fricatives, and those are the kinds of sounds that create friction. So I'm going to give you 6 to think about, but I'm going to give you number 1 also. Okay, fricatives. We're creating friction. Can you think of any sound besides a TH that feels like it creates friction? Just to guess.
I don't know, maybe j.
Ah, very nice. J as in juice. Uh-huh. What else? Sh. Uh-huh, you got it. Shh, that's one of them. I don't know if that was on purpose. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Let's start with that. So you're already on the right track, right? The number 1, the one I want you to think about is the S sound. And to correlate that, we talked last time about the Z in voicing, right? So, but I want you to think now about the friction that you're doing with the S's and exactly where's your tongue. I've got this this like giant mouth over here, and I'm gonna just spotlight myself so people can see a little bit. The question is, do we have friction? Number 1. Number 2, where's that friction being created? For the TH just now, we said, here's the tongue, and the teeth are kind of on the teeth and the tongue is where the friction's being created, right between those two, right? Or for example. But if I'm doing an S, I got to come back on the bump. Back here, there's a bump or a ridge right there. My tongue is creating friction with that bump. So, the only difference is the voicing there. Check yourself for a second. Make sure your S's are on your bump because they sound a little bit to me like they might be a bit forward, like right maybe where the teeth are touching, or a little bit back.
Bianca, I think I lost your image.
Oh.
I can't see you.
You can try to tap on my face. Could always be, could always be internet. But try to tap on my face. And I'm just checking if you heard that audio too.
Oh, yeah.
We're always, because we're live, this is exciting, guys. We're always dealing with something. Can you see me now?
Technical. Oh, you're back.
All right, great. All right, cool. I'm not sure if you heard what I was just saying about those S's. Did that come through, or should I just say it again?
It's better if you repeat this.
Okay, cool. So rewind to the TH thing we were saying. I've got this giant mouth here. If my hand is your tongue and the TH sound is creating friction, where is that created? Exactly between the top of the tongue and the bottom of the front teeth, right? Or if we had voicing, right there is the friction. But for an S, I want you to think about this. I'm going to ask you to say a few words that start with S, and I want you to pay attention to where exactly is the friction being created, because it should be right on that bump, the bump behind your teeth, right there. So, I'm guessing that your vibration, sorry, wrong word. I mean friction is maybe a little forward, maybe, where the teeth and the gums might meet, or it might be a little bit back. So do an S again and just and see if you can feel if that's happening right on the bump. Is it right there? Right along the bump, do you know? And play with it.
I mean, if I touch the bump with the tip of my tongue,
right?
It'll be like.
Well, if you
like a T.
Yeah, exactly. If you touch it, if you tap it, it's going to be a T. So in the same area, but without tapping it, just create friction and see if that feels different. And then try it maybe a little forward. Push it forward towards your teeth and see if that feels weird or if that was kind of normal for you. Push it all the way towards the TH and see where it is, right? Just feel.
For the TH, it's I'm touching the.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
My teeth.
Explore all that area between the teeth and the bump, and even go behind the bump a little bit and just see how it feels. And I'm only saying this because something was a little bit off, and I can hear there's friction, right? Clearly your tongue is in the right area. But in different languages and different cultures, its S's can be a little bit different. They can vary a little bit. So, and I don't know how Russian S's are and maybe how much force you've got in an S, because I know you have like light and hard sounds too. So nice and hard, right on the bump, that's our S. Add the voicing, you've got Z, right? Okay, so for example, I'm going to put 2 words. should be still sharing my screen. I'm gonna wash my hands in the S-I-N-K, and there's a compound Z-I-N, I think it's C actually, zinc. Say both of those, sink and zinc, right on the bump, and check your voicing.
Sink and zinc.
Yes, there we go.
Sink, zinc.
Sink, zinc.
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 All
Alright, so it's the bottom teeth, the bump behind the teeth.
Top teeth.
Top teeth.
Top teeth, yeah. It is possible to do it on the bottom. It's just most people don't usually.
Well, it's totally different.
Something to.
I would go for the lower.
Interesting.
Lower, teeth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I never knew that about you. So people do S's at the bottom, right? The bump is just much smaller, and most people go for the top, right? So if you're doing it on the bottom, maybe that's why it sounds a little bit off to me. You see what I mean? Try it at the top. Practice that a little bit, right? And it might. And it's a tiny little thing, right? But just to clarify, like, oh, that sounds a little bit off to me, that could be why, right? Totally fine if you're making it on the bottom. A lot of people do. Same way with R's and things. Sink, zinc, sink, zinc.
Trump's tariffs.
There's a lot of S's here.
The U.S. economy. Yeah, Trump's tariffs.
There we go. Yes, exactly. So thinking about there's friction. It's hard enough. Just where is it? And yeah, people will make it on the bottom and it sounds just fine. But I think because the bottom bump is way smaller and it's hard to kind of like get the geography right. Yeah, try using the top bump because you've got a lot more real estate up there. You know what I mean? So think about that. And the other fricatives, you kind of mentioned them. We'll keep an eye on them, but S is so common. The THs, the SHs, shh, like we said. You mentioned it. You mentioned j as in juice, right? And you said it before. When you tap first and then create friction, that's what j is. Also ch, the unvoiced one. And there's one you didn't mention. It's like I'm watching television. If I take shh and I voice it, then I've got zh, right? So I'm going to add these to the top of our list. Spelling is weird, so I'm going to use the symbols this time. I've got shh, it looks like that curvy one, and then I've got the voiced version of that, which is zh, as in television, looks like that. And then if we add that little tap first we have ch, as in chocolate, and then we have j, as in juice. So all 6 of those, I don't know if you're doing all 6 on the bottom bump or the top bump, but try to migrate them up to the top bump just to see if you can do that and get into that habit, because it's a small difference, but it is something that you're so advanced. I feel like let's talk about these advanced things now. Does that make sense? How's that for you?
Yeah, very interesting. I'm trying to keep that in mind going forward, and going about those S's and Z's.
Never would have thought
we'll
that.
See if it makes it different. Yeah.
I
would have thought.
Perfect. Okay, so I got a couple other things on our list here. I'm gonna start with what was it? A quick review, right? We said syllable stress and vowel length, mostly great, but this one word, and probably because it was the beginning, I want you to say it again. And think about the articulation was good, but think about the vowel length and especially pitch between the A and the E here. So say this word maybe 3 times, and let's see if it goes where I need it to go.
Paper. Paper. On paper.
Go a little, yeah. So you're going nice and high, but the problem is you're keeping it high on the E. So paper. I want you to go lower actually on the second one.
Paper.
Yeah, there we go. Even
paper.
Yes, there we go. Paper. Doesn't matter if your normal pitch rate starts way high, it still needs to go down on the unstressed syllables. And I think the reason you're doing this, and it goes to these yellow ideas as well, is that you're thinking, oh, there's a comma. Oh, I'm going to pause here. Is my intonation maybe going to go up at the end? Intonation, yes, but watch how the intonation versus your vowels is going to be. On paper, burr, I can play around with that vowel just before maybe a comma, maybe a exclamation point, something like that. Just make sure that the levels, let's say the levels of the vowels are correct, then you play with them after that for the intonation, for the impact. Does that make sense? Little tiny thing there too. So now say the first part of the sentence. Let's go to meant, and I want to hear correct syllable stress, meaning paper, but then play with that at the end to indicate the comma. You see what I mean?
Right. Paper, Trump's tariffs were meant...
Da 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 da. Exactly. And it might just be because it was like your first line, and so you're a little rusty, let's say. But that's kind of what I want to say about that particular word, but also the idea of now let's separate not just the vowel length and the syllable stress and how they're related, but now let's start thinking about intonation. Because I'm going to jump down to these yellow parts down here, and I wanted to say you did it once. Look at this. There's an and then you did something with your intonation here. I don't even know if you remember it. I don't know if it was automatic, but start with as and go to the end of the sentence. This was perfect. It's what I'm looking for. I want to apply it somewhere else. So read this last sentence of the paragraph, and where it's yellow, you kind of raised, you did something, you lowered with your intonation to say like, come on, guys. Come on, it's not even that hard. Like you were communicating maybe a bit of sarcasm there, something at the end. Do that line again.
As it turned out, it's not impossible, and it's not even that hard.
Da 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 da, right? You do something with your intonation, also the rhythm as well, right? You kind of took that yellow part, and it wasn't yellow before, but you popped it out, and you said, pay attention to this. I'm saying something in a different way here, right? It's not what I'm saying, it's how I'm saying. And I want you to do the same thing anytime you see this. It's already here in your script. Look, I've got double dashes, right? Anything in between there, it's already popped out. So use your voice to pop it out more. Same thing if I have, like, sometimes there's double commas and I'm putting extra information in there, and maybe that extra information is, maybe it's a joke, maybe it's something a little absurd, something. Whenever I have double commas, there's always something about it. There's a reason it's there, right? So you've already stuck it out, let's say, verbally, written-wise. Now use your voice to make it stick out. Do the same thing. We'll start with to keep and go to tariffs, but make that yellow part stick out.
Keep buying cheap goods from China while hold on to your hat, watching the tariffs.
Exactly, right? So even if I didn't see the script, if I was listening, I'd hear like regular intonation. Oh, that's weird. Something's going on. And then it goes back to it, right? And that pops it out in my mind. So I wanted to point it out how you already do it. And definitely whenever you see double commas or double dashes, use that same thing there, right? And that applies to anybody, doing any of these things. So does that make sense? The relationship between the intonation, the vowels, the syllable stress.
Through this line the first time, yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem. Maybe.
More distinct.
Exactly, but that gives us an opportunity to share it with other people too, and to say, oh, this is what I'm doing? Oh yeah, that's why I'm doing it. And so it's a nice, I think, review, right? So perfect. I've got two more, then we'll do the rest of this. This one, maybe because you were rusty at the beginning. We said voicing before, right? And g. That's the voicing. I very distinctly heard, and watch the replay if you want, guys. Bag, g. That was definitely voiced. And I'm thinking, okay, that's weird, right? You don't normally make that mistake. And I thought, well, maybe it's the H that's kind of doing it, because the H is in the back, or should I say bag as well, in the back, right? And the H has to have some air coming through, so maybe things got a little muddled. But let's do an unvoiced K and then the air for the H. Back home. Back home. Back home. Yeah, there's definitely voicing on the vowels, on the A and the O, but let's turn it off for the k thing, right? Back home. A couple more times.
Back home.
There we go. Back home. So if you're ever thinking about voicing and you do make a mistake, think like, oh, maybe there was something after it, and because of that, like, I just temporarily forgot the voicing, you know? Mostly it's with S's and Z's, right? So there's three big ones, let's say. S's and Z's, very noticeable. T's and D's, especially with an ED ending. When something's in the past, I need to know if it's voiced or not, and we could go over that next time if you want. And then the K's and the G's, but A, they're not as common, and B, they're not as, like, important grammatically, right? The S's and Z's, that's plurals, that's verbs in their tenses. ED's really important for adjectives as well in verbs, right? So weird little mistake, but I think it's always interesting to think like, oh, how and why does that happen, right? Make sense? All good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
What's with the trade?
That's the last one. Yes, the last one for this section, right? So the TR, this is something that if you were at a coffee shop with friends, you would do it. But since you're reporting and you want to have very clear diction, probably, right? I would say for this time, I want us to do the difference, right? So we said it earlier. What's the this sound here? Do you remember? It was kind of food that I mentioned. I know you know some of these IPAs. Yeah, exactly. As in chips or chocolate, right? So we just said, right? That's an there's friction there, but we stop the sound first. Let me grab the mouth again. Because a lot of people, and this is very British English, way more than American English, right? Their TRs are ch as in chocolate, right? So they would say trade. I will trade you my I don't know, vanilla for your chocolate, right? They very often do that, way more than us. We do it, but in very casual settings. So this TR can sound like a CH, but I would just advise against it if you're giving a presentation, going to a job interview, something like this, right? Unless you were talking to somebody on the street, you know? So keep in mind that obviously it's a choice, but it's something that I would say. So let's think about what that is, how it happens, and how to undo it a little bit, right? Because it feels good, it feels natural, it feels easy. Right? I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying you have choices. So let's think of what is a T and then an R. You just said it earlier. The T taps the bump, right? And because this R is after a consonant, we call it a regular R. And so what does that mean? My tongue is going to tap and then curl back. Trade, try, right? So curl the tip of the tongue and bring it back to, I like to say, the cave of your mouth, right in that space. So yeah, there we go. Now say the word TRADE 3 times. Trade. Trade. So I'm like tap pull. As opposed to tap friction. Trade, right? So we're trying to cut out that little bit of friction and go real direct to right? Pull it back as fast as you can. Don't let it linger, because you might end up with it might go all the way to like Schrade or something, right? But if you've had a beer or something, who cares? But if you're presenting, you know, on screen, that's just something that you might think about. So watch the TRs. If you've got a script for yourself, just like do a, you know, search and find and do a TR, and then go through all of those and be like, am I doing tr or tr? So now I want you to do this. Do trade. Yeah, you can feel tap pull. Do it now. Show me bad version, good version. Show me this. Trade. See if you can do it.
Trade. Trade. Trade.
There you go. So one lingers and gives a little bit more friction, and you're like, oh, okay, I can see that, but it's not the one I want right now. So watch TRs. Another one we just mentioned, as in not chocolate, but the voiced version, juice. Watch DRs as well. They end up being DR, yeah. They end up being sometimes dr, right? Juice, Watch that too. TRs are more common, but that would be another one. So do a quick search and find. in your script and just do, I like to do bad version, good version, because that's me being super aware of like, what's happening here? Oh, this is the one I want. And your brain will like select that one. You know what I mean? So we can't say that it's wrong, but we can say that it's going to be a style choice for you sometime. Does that make sense? All those?
Yeah,
okay, that's a lot already. Let's do that second section of this. It's I think it starts out, it often starts.
It often starts with WhatsApp messages or emails offering shipping deals that look too good to be legal. Behind them is an underground network working around Trump's steep tariffs, setting up shell companies that undervalue goods or pass them off under cheaper categories. In plain English, if you import $1,000 worth of leather shoes and owe $500 in duties, you declare them as worth $500 and cut the tariff in half, or relabel them as leather slippers, which fall into a lower duty bracket. That's it. Some get caught. Of course, not all.
Ah, there we go. Yes, there's that thing. I got a single comma, and then I heard that like playing around with the intonation, right? Like that. Fabulous. And like you said, I don't know if this is a cold read, if it's the first time you've read it, but it's not like polished, by any means. So keep playing around with that too. And look what we just had. I heard a bit of a hesitation here. And I think if I can read your mind, you're thinking, wait, leather slippers? Why are leather slippers in here? And I think it was just kind of a cheeky example, and you forgot to do that thing.
So the explanation is, of course, I knew this example. I'm going to use this example before I, go live. It's just for the script, I want to read it as if I'm, looking for the word, at this exact moment, just to give it a little bit more of a,
impression of, exactly. It looks like this.
It can be leather, slippers.
Exactly. And I can, because I do the same process too, right? I write my scripts beforehand, but it still has to sound like it's the first time you've said it. So if there's any other content creators out there, same thing. I don't know what your setup is and how you do your teleprompters and things like that, but I have like a little code for myself. Remember earlier we did these like dash, right? For teleprompters, you should be able to also do emoji, right? You might think, oh, I want to do the thinking emoji here, and that's going to remind me to like look up and be like, leather, is it this? Is it leather slippers, or is it leather slippers, right? Think about where's that pause going to be, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll create my scripts in advance, and then I think I'll remember this, but then when the time comes, it's like, how did I want to say that? What did I want to do? So think of a code or a legend for yourself that this means this and ... means this, and then the more you do it, the more I think you won't have to think about it or do retakes. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, sure. If there is anything you think you should mark in your script beforehand, do it, because when there's acting situation, there are so many things going on. It's better to have those little cues.
Yeah. Cues. With a cues exactly. And then you can have your own kind of like cheat sheet about that. Everyone's is different, It depends really on the system and the limitations of the system, because sometimes you can't bold, sometimes there's this, like really depends on how you're doing it. But if you want, share your system sometime and I'll help you come up with that. Last question about this one. In your mind, were you thinking the whole thing needs to pop out and be interesting, or was it the leather part or just the slippers part? Like what part did you want to kind of highlight here?
The slippers, because it should be something made of leather, but just from another category. So I know it's going to be leather, but what it can be.
There we go.
So,
there we
so the
go.
pause should be
something, and this is just a quick notation, right? So let's do that whole thing again, and let's start with leather shoes, because that, like you said, it's all about the leather, and now I want to use my intonation, maybe my rhythm, something about that to make this other part slip out. And remember, there's a comma there, so I want to go all the way to this period too to see how it all kind of fits together, because this is like how should we say, the end of the joke, right? The punchline, basically. You're building up to this. So let's do that whole blue part. Actually, let's start with if. That makes it more coherent. And then go all the way to bracket. And let's see how you can really like drive that punchline home on slippers. Go ahead.
If you import $1,000 worth of leather shoes and owe $500 in duties, you declare them as worth $500 and cut the tariff in half, or relabel them as leather slippers, which fall into a lower duty bracket.
There we go. Yes, totally. Like that just stood out, and you're like, even if you hadn't been paying that much attention before, you're like, wait, something, what did I just miss? Like, you know you missed something, right? And to take it a step further, I'd even like do slippers, like slippers or dot dot. Like you could play around with it and see what you want to come up with, right? But I definitely identify that thing that needs to stick out and then label it somehow, right? Because you're probably not doing like 100 takes of something. You're not like editing that much really. So I think getting a system is the most important thing, right? So, okay, makes sense, right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. One little thing just now we picked up, so it's inconsistent. Is it ooh or you? Do you say duties or duties?
Duties.
Yeah, they both sound pretty good, right?
Duties.
Uh-huh. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to not even say, I'm going to show. I'm going to go to the myfrienddictionary.com. Both are correct, right?
Say.
Both are correct. You say duty and duty, but you were number one. You were kind of on the fence. It was the you was halfway there, and it wasn't there before. So I would say pick a lane and stick to it. Do you want duties or duties? Just to know, this might sway your opinion. Is when I hear the y, I'm from like the Northeast, New York, Philly area. When I hear the y in there, I think two things. Number one, that's a bit British. Number two, I think it's a bit old. It's a bit grandma for me, right? So that might sway your decision a little bit, right? But same thing goes with like student. Right? There's a bunch of Britishisms, which I think, did you learn a lot of British English in high school, or in school, I should say?
It's just British English.
Well, there you go. There you go. So how would you know, right? How would you know? But if you're ever not sure, then ask me. So number one, be consistent, right? Just pick one. Doesn't matter which one it is, but also know like the connotations around it. You know what I mean? So, okay, cool. So, yeah. So again, not wrong, but at your level, we want to know those little interesting things. Okay. This one, I've got two things that are a little, how should we say, more pronunciation, and then this other interesting topic that we haven't talked on. So first of all, say this phrase again. Think about two things. Number one, the exact vowels, and number two, how you're connecting those two words. Go ahead.
In plain English.
Plain
English.
Okay. Is it English or is it in English? Like coffee is in the cup. Which one? Or
England, yeah.
It. Okay, good. There we go. Okay, so your brain knows what it should be. Correct. Now, make sure that your jaw's nice and tight. English, not English, not like the end of the story. Plain English. Do that again. Plain English. There you go. Don't even open your jaw much. Plain English. Plain English. Plain English. There we go. Again. Plain English, right? There we go. Plain English. And look, in this whole thing, right, there's no ah sound or ahs and box sound. So my jaw doesn't need to open later. It's not being influenced or something. It's just your brain sees the letter E, and even though it knows it's it wants to open up more like eh. You know what I mean? So there's no need for it. It's not being tricked by anything else other than the spelling. Because look, I've got English. Both are nice and tight. English, plain English. Yeah, exactly. And if you don't mind, since we were talking about N's earlier and T's, right? Just because yours are good, so I want to demonstrate this for everybody. Let me grab this mouth again. Where do I make an N sound? Also on the bump, right? Na, right? So what's the difference between an N and a T? Na, t, t, t. Na, t, t, t. You might feel it. It's the air. N is a nasal sound, and T is coming out of my mouth, right? And I really love your phrase here because it's like, oh, here's a nasal sound, na. And then right afterwards, a lot of people make this mistake. They say they mix up the N's and the NG. So your N is here on the bump, but your NG is back here. plaining, plaining, and then I've got a G, English. So I just wanted to point that out because I thought, oh, that's a really interesting little section there, and it might be a phrase that you use a lot. I don't know. Is that something you say often? Plain English, in plain English. Maybe.
It could pop up.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It,
And I like that pop up because we often find little things. It's like, I didn't set out to talk about N's and NGs today, right? We're just like, let's see what we find, which is the fun part also, I think, of being live, right? So think of that same thing. I've got that E. I said, don't open your jaw too much. It's going to sound like N, like end of the day. But that's exactly what I want here, right? So say this. I'm going to do bad version, good version again. Think about the and the as in cat or bat. Is it messages or massages? Which one should it be? Messages. Okay, cool. So your brain knows. I heard it was a little too open for me that time, so I marked it real quick. And why though? Look around it. What's app mass? That's why. It just was like your jaw was like, oh, I'm really open now. Look at me, I'm so open. But really, it's app messages. WhatsApp messages. WhatsApp messages. WhatsApp messages. WhatsApp messages. Yeah. There we go. Exactly. Right. So if there's ever a little thing that's off, look around it and be like, what tripped me up? What is my mouth is trying to conserve energy. How is it doing it in this situation? Right. Because these are not consistent mistakes or errors because you know it. It's like, oh, something tripped me up here. So see what the offending thing is. Okay, I've got two more things, but they're in kind of the same category. So it's something to think about along that line of, well, we had syllable stress, we had vowel length, we talked about how that is related to intonation, and now I want to switch gears just slightly and think about rhythm, right? Rhythm and pace and stressed words, right? So how do we rewind? How do we stress a syllable? We said three things. It's longer, it's louder, it's higher in pitch, right? Let's take that word right there. Messages. It's longer, it's louder, it's higher in pitch. No question, no choice. When I look it up in the dictionary, I see a stressed syllable. It has to be higher in pitch. But with word stress, you've done it. Like when I say like leather slippers, slippers, I'm playing with the pitch for word stress, and that's a choice. So now I'm thinking about, okay, which words am I going to stress? Which words are important? Which ones do I want to make them stick out and kind of like color them a little bit and make them fancy? That gets complicated when we have, number one, what we call compound nouns. Let's take the word credit and card back in the day, right? Before this was a thing, the first ones that came out was like, it's a credit card. It's a credit. I can't even do it. It's a credit card. It used to be that. If you look at old movies, because they took the word credit, they took the word card, they were like, where do we put the stress? For them, it was a kind of card. That's not what we say these days. It's my credit card. Credit card. Da-da-da. It's one thing now, right? It's its own thing. So compound nouns can be a bit tricky, but also if I've got maybe an adjective and a noun, I say, well, which one's more, am I thinking of it as one thing? Or am I thinking of it as a kind of thing, right? And those are the two things that I want to talk about for a quick second. The question is, where do I place the stress and why? What's important here, right? So look at these. Look at this one. I've got shipping. This is an easy one. And deals. First thing in my mind, is it one thing? Is it shipping deals or is it shipping deals? Is it kinds of deals? Which one is it in your mind? Is it its own thing or is it a kind of a thing?
I wouldn't say it's one thing. I would treat deals as the main noun.
Okay.
And shipping as in
just the adjective. Okay, good. In this case, and that's how I marked it too. So, because when I heard of it as kind of like it's its own thing, meaning what? How did I hear that? What did I pick up on? They were stressed equally, right? But you just said it. You said, no, it's the kind of deals, right? So stress this one more, right? Still, I'm going to stress this because it's an important word in the sentence, but I got to really hit that shipping part, right? So offering shipping deals that look too good to be legal. So let's start with that. Start with offering and really make that shipping kind of pop out in relation. Keep deals up there, but just not quite as much as shipping. Give that a try.
Offering shipping deals that look too good to be legal.
Ah, bang on. That's perfect. That's what I wanted to say. Like, I know that deals is important. I know that shipping is more important. I know that it's a kind of deal just from like the hierarchy, right, of your rhythm and your stress. So perfect. Remember, with this, it doesn't matter if the stress on the word is pitch-wise higher or lower, but that it's longer and louder. Generally, it's higher. But I say that because this next one is interesting. Okay, here I've got a verb, right? I'm doing something to the goods, right? I'm doing something to them. I'm taking their value and I'm putting it down. So look, I've got the word value here, but then it's a compound noun like we were talking about earlier. So for you, how am I going to stress this thing, right? In your mind, what parts are going to stick out? Because I've got two words, but they both have syllable stress inside them. Any thoughts? I'm going to mark the syllable stress.
The primary stress on value.
Okay.
Value.
Okay, so I've got
secondary and on.
Okay, cool. So normally when we talk about primary and secondary stress, we talk about inside the same word, like hierarchy, right? It's one word, but it's not like a composition of things. This is a composition of words. So I've got two words. They already have under value. They already have syllable stress. So pretend you're a robot, but give me that syllable stress. Under value.
Undervalue.
Right, but now I don't know that they go together. So you're going to put them together, and you said you wanted to stress the word value more, right? So I still got to do undervalue. And I still need that little tick to hear that syllable stress in there, right? So I'm going to maybe mark it, I don't know, let's do the whole thing like that, okay? So now put them together, keep the syllable stress, and show me that that second part is more important, but don't lose the syllable stress on the value. See if you can do that.
Undervalue.
Little bit, yeah, a little bit more. Use the pitch.
Undervalue.
Use the pitch. Value.
Undervalue.
Yeah, there we go.
Undervalue.
Even more. In fact, let's do this as an exercise. When I'm working with syllable stress, rhythm, anything that's related to pitch, one thing you can do once you got the idea is you can, you know what, take the syllables out of it. Sorry, take the consonants out of it. Take the vowels out of it. So forget the words. Hum it to me. Like, right? Hum the word for me. And let's see if you can do it just with your pitch. That's what we're looking for. See, right? It's there, but let's make it a little bit more. Meaning what? Tighten up on your vocal folds a little more, right? See how much I jumped on the vowel part? Oh my God, way up there. Try that. Yes, there we go. Again. Right? It feels weird. I know. It's like, it feels like it's too much, but it sounds perfect. One more time. Now give me the words again. Undervalue.
Undervalue.
Oh, beautiful. Now give me the whole phrase. Start with setting up and going to categories.
Setting up shell companies that undervalue goods or pass them off under a cheaper category.
There we go. Yes. So see, maybe it feels like, whoa, that's weird. I'm overdoing it. You might feel that way, but it sounds fantastic, right? To my ears, it's like, wow, there's the rhythm is there, right? The length is there. And now we're talking about that pitch, right? So that's actually what I'm going for. And it kind of comes back around to what we talked about last time, right? It comes back around to syllable stress in a way, right? So I'm going to add at the top of our list here, we talked about a lot today. What do you feel like is the big takeaway for today? So I can add that to the top of our notes for you.
Well, I guess the pitch, since this is the last thing we discussed, and it's also a recurring thing. It's the third time we're actually talking about this, so this is something for me to think about. But Yeah. Also uh, the S's. This is the S and Z's. It's a new thing, so I would think about it
Nice.
in the coming days.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. Oh,
Messages. I should tell you this. I know that messages. I should keep my mouth, shut for that one.
uh-huh.
It's just sometimes it still slips through.
Oh, yes.
Maybe because of the WhatsApp. But
Uh-huh.
there's another thing like head back, right? It should be head back,
You
right?
know that.
Especially when it's so close together. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I know that.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to keep that in mind every time I
And
come across a situation like this.
uh-huh.
So,
Let me say something about that for everybody too.
I already know this.
Uh-huh.
Something
And
to drill. You just drill it.
drill it to kill it. That's what I like to say. And also there's a thing, there's mistakes and errors, and the way we define them differently is a mistake is like, I knew that, right? What was I thinking? I didn't have my coffee, whatever. So a mistake is something you should be able to correct yourself, right? Like if you did a report and then you watched it later and you said like, who's that? Who's that guy talking, right? Why do you say bag here? Really? Like if you watch it with some analysis, you should be able to find your own mistakes. But errors are things you don't even know about, right? And that's why I always ask, do it again. Here's the point. Tell me what you think. And you're like, no, of course it's messages, right? It's messages, right? So we think about, is it just a mistake? And can this person help themselves with this? Or is it an error and they don't know what it is? They don't even know where to begin. And that's where like I try to come in and say like, oh, you thought it was paper, right? Oh, you see that E, right? You thought it was English, right? Because this is why you thought that, right? Not your fault, but now you know. So now you know we can move that to the mistake category. You know what I mean? So like I bet you probably never thought about, where do I put my S? Top bump or bottom bump, right? And it's pretty rare, so I wouldn't have thought about it. I wouldn't have thought about it till today. And so I thought, oh, that's very interesting. So for you, like, I love having you here because we can talk about these basic things like the e and the a that people might not even recognize themselves. For them, it might be an error. So this kind of opens that up for them. And then for you, they're just mistakes. And I say, oh, I know it's a mistake for him now. Like, it's not a big deal, but I did hear it. And let's look at why. Like, oh, it's the a nearby, right? Oh, it's this, it's that. So I think it's always interesting when you make a mistake and you recognize it and you know it's a mistake, you can say, well, why is that, right? Is it because there was something nearby that messed me up and I was going too fast or I haven't read it before? Boy, I should probably change that vocabulary because that's a hard word to say. Somebody keeps trying to say Mediterranean in class and I was like, maybe we should look at this, maybe we should try this other word that we could just say the sea, right? So maybe it's how we write the scripts. And then I think another takeaway, I'm going to write this up here. I'm going to say, think about your teleprompter and think of a way that it can maximize, especially your intonation. Because I think that's, how should I say, that's a strength that you totally have, right? And if it's, if it's something you do, but it's getting lost because of the technology, maybe we could use the technology to guarantee that you have that way to shine. You know what I mean? Because I think that's a strength that you have. And then last thing, I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to write humming technique, which it's pretty self-explanatory, but what do you think I mean by that? For the whole script.
And just do the focus on your pitch. Get rid of all the sounds and just meaning of the words, and just try to focus on the pitch of the vowels.
Yeah, exactly. And, pitch especially.
That's an interesting technique.
Mm-hmm. And think about length, right? We're going to bring it back around to length. So, for example, the whole script you could do like this, and I know it's not easy. Let's just do one sentence, right? Do the humming technique for the one sentence to close us out today, and then we'll say thanks, guys, for watching, and let's see if you can do the whole sentence. I know you're thinking about how many syllables, how long are they, blah 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 blah. It's not an easy task, but if I can put you on the spot here, let's do this as the last thing for today.
Yeah, let's try.
Aha. If I didn't see this text, well, no, let me rewind. Other people, when they first try to do this, they're like, how many syllables are? You can't really follow them along. I could tell when you did this, I could tell exactly where you were. right? I could follow along with you. I can see those words. But even if I couldn't, I could hear your changes in your pitches, and that says, oh, even if the TV is on in the other room or something like that, like I can still kind of follow along. And that's a huge difference between English and a lot of other languages, right? Those words, those important words, they stick out to me. Those syllables, they are stressed, right? And I can follow along, and I can kind of hear you even if I can't hear you. You know what I mean? And I think that's communication, at least in English. You know what I mean? So this is like what I want you to start doing this week is once you have a script that's completed, just sit there with it and hum through it a little bit and get used to hearing that part of your voice and really zoom in on, are there any compound nouns? Is there adjective and noun? How can I pop these things out? And maybe there isn't. Maybe it's, for example, kind of like this last part of this first sentence here. Maybe there's no comma. Maybe there's no quotes. Maybe there's no smiley face here. Maybe there's just the word and or but or something like that. But how's my voice going to do it? Then maybe how might I mark that so I remember to do it on the teleprompter? So I know we went through a lot today. How do you feel about today's sample session, let's say?
Yeah, very good. I mean, we've covered the waterfront. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I love it. The humming exercise is definitely something I'm going to keep in mind, in the coming weeks. I'll try to hum the next script I have when I have it ready.
Nice. Yeah, it's kind of like, you can just walk around the house, and even in your head, if you start thinking about it that way, like something's going to change, I think. So I'm excited. In the next few weeks when we have you back on here live, maybe you can tell me how it's going for you. If you remember to do it, like if it feels weird, or if it's feeling more natural, I'd love the update for this one. Okay?
Deal. Yeah,
awesome.
Sounds good. Yeah,
awesome.
Look forward to seeing you again.
Yay! And thanks, guys, for joining us too. If you're watching it live, if you're sorry, with my cold today, all part of the live experience. Joining us live today, or if you're watching this as a replay, I know a lot of people who follow you are watching these as replays, and I hope that they're learning a lot about this from us in this time together. So thank you again for doing this for other people, and guys, thank you for watching as well. And we'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody. See you soon. Bye, guys. Catch you later.